see that little notification pop up here shortly that we're recording the call for our friends who were not able to join us today. So just keep in mind, this call is being recorded. However, I highly encourage you to participate. This is actually one of my favorite topics we're covering today, and I'm pleased to have operating partner out of Southern California, one of our most recently certified training restaurants. On the line today, we've got Bruno. Hey, Bruno, how are you doing?
Doing well, doing well.
Wonderful. Well, the floor is all yours. You want to go ahead and take us away?
All right, hello to everybody. So today we're going to be talking about active listening and what is active listening. For more than 35 business studies have indicated that listening is a top skill needed um, for success in business. Um, the brain is like a race ahead. So what do you call a funny story? A joke. What do you what are you what are you when you have no money? Broke. What's another word for Coca-Cola? Coke. What's the white of an egg? It's not yolk, it's albumin. So active listening, when interacting with someone, I tend to talk more than I listen. Others will often indicate to me, either directly or indirectly, that I have interrupted them. I seldom take time to check and show understanding before explaining my point of view. I can rarely remember what someone has just said to me. When others are talking, I often find myself thinking about what I'm going to say next. I rarely pay attention to people I find dry or boring. There are some people I do not bother listening to because their past behavior makes me feel they are not worth my attention. I often find myself suspecting that other people are unlikely to say anything of value. I have become I have become adept at faking interest in others, even while daydreaming. I often find myself reacting emotionally to one thing that someone has said while ignoring other points I have made.
All right, so I'm actually going to jump in here real fast. So as Bruno was thinking or reading through these statements, um, thinking to yourself, giving yourself actually a rating. So grab a pen and paper real fast if you have one in front of you. But we're going to go through these statements, if you will, and give yourself a rating between 0 and 5, with 0 meaning that the statement doesn't represent the way that you are at all, or, I'm never like this, and with 5 meaning that the statement describes me exactly, or, I'm always like this. So Bruno already read through those statements for you on the screen. Real fast, we're going to pause for just a quick moment. Go ahead and read through them one more time and give yourself a rating between 0 and 5 for each of them. And then we're actually going to add up all the points, so you can do that as well. But real fast, just giving you a quick minute to go through all of those, and then on the next page, we'll reveal what your answers mean. All right, just a few more seconds here, you guys. So rating yourself between 0 and 5 for each of these, and then you're going to add up all of those points. All right, if you're not done, we're going to close the polls. Bruno, you want to share with us how everyone did?
All right, guys. Let's see how you guys did. So, if you got 40 to 50, it's time to tune up those active listening skills. If you got 21 to 39, although you may be listening actively some of the time, there's room for improvement. And if you got 0 to 20, you're listening actively most of the time.
Awesome. So, regardless of how you scored, just make sure that you're actively listening to today's presentation, as there's still likely some things you can learn or share with others who need help learning to actively listen. But anyway, take it on. Go ahead and move us along there, Bruno.
All right. So when I ask you to listen to me and you start giving me advice or you have not done what I asked, uh, begin to tell me why I shouldn't feel that way or you are trembling on my feelings. Feel you have to do something to solve my problem. You have failed me, strange as that may seem. Okay, so we do have an example here where a team member and a manager have a conversation. So team member says, "I don't like working with Johnny." Manager says, "You like working with Johnny in the past. What happened?" "I don't feel like he pulls his weight during his shifts anymore." "I can tell you're frustrated with Johnny, but or I'm sorry, what, if anything, have you said to Johnny about how you feel?"
All right,
So that's a
guys.
good
Was this
example there of how to
manager?
listen to some.
Yeah,
I'm sorry,
sorry.
go ahead.
Was this manager actively listening? Go ahead and drop your answer in the chat. Feel free to pop a like on the screen. But what do you guys think? Was this manager actively listening? All right, we got a couple answers coming through. So on this one, the manager was actually actively listening. They did affirm the team member's feelings and they began the steps to resolve the issue the team member had brought forward. All right, Bruno, want to take us through the next scenario?
Yeah, example number 2. Team member and manager. "I like you better than Ken as a manager." "Why? What did Ken say to make you angry?" "I was late, so he made me stay late to do cleaning project." "Well, you will have to get over that because he's your boss too."
All right, guys, same deal. Was this manager actively listening? What do you think?
No.
Bruno's got a bet in for no.
Mhm.
All right, so you are actually correct. The manager was not actively listening. He jumped to conclusions about the situation and he invalidated the way that the team member was feeling. That's not good. That team member's probably not going to react positively to that situation. All right, we've got one more. Bruno, take us through it.
All right, example number 3. "I need Friday off and I am scheduled to work. It sounds like you have a problem. Have you asked anyone if they can cover your shift?" No, I thought you would do that because it's really important, and I think you could get someone to cover it easier than I can since you're the boss. I understand that being off is important to you. Why don't we look at the schedule together and target some people for you to ask? If you can't get anyone to cover your shift after you have asked those individuals, then I will see what I can do to help.
All right. What do you guys think? Did this manager actively listen? We got some people responding quickly on this one. So I don't know about you guys. When I first saw this scenario and the manager says it sounds like you have a problem, I thought that was kind of sassy until I realized, oh, the manager is actually validating that the team member has an issue. So you're correct. The manager identified that this team member had a problem that they were looking to help be resolved. The manager then reiterated this problem to the team member to show them that they were listening. And then they talked through a cooperative plan that would allow them to overcome the team member's problem. Great work. All right. So, some food for thought. Bruno, you want to take us through this?
All right. So do you need to improve? When is it hard to concentrate? And how do you feel?
Yeah, so do you feel like you need to improve your listening skills? Why do you feel you need to them? And has something happened recently? Did you make a team member or a guest angry? Or do you jump to conclusions too often? When it comes to being hard to concentrate, in what environments do you find it hard to concentrate? Is it hard to actively listen when there is a lot of movement or a lot of noise? Do you have trouble listening to people who speak softly or people who talk too much? And then also, how do you feel when you're not being listened to? Does it make you feel valued or respected? Yeah. Bruno, it's your turn again. How can you actively listen?
All right. So how to actively listen? There's 5 key elements. One is pay attention. Two, show that you are listening. Three, provide feedback. Four, defer judgment. And five, respond appropriately. Listening tips. You want to repeat the words mentally. So in your mind, you want to repeat those words to kind of actively listen. Ask and then ask for more information.
Yeah, so um, if you're having that trouble concentrating on what someone is saying, try and, like Bruno said, to repeat those words mentally as they're being spoken to kind of reinforce that message and help keep your mind from drifting. And then if you find yourself responding emotionally to what's happening or what someone is saying, stop yourself and just ask for more information. Something along the lines of, I may not be understanding you correctly, and I find myself talking or taking what you said personally. What I thought you said was XYZ. Is that what you really meant? Instead of jumping straight to that emotion. So, real fast, we call these conversation filters. It happens naturally, usually subconsciously. However, these can be barriers to good communication. So, Bruno, what are some common listening filters?
All right. So some common listening filters would be beliefs, your current mood, your interest, your past and future images, your attitudes, memories, your values, um, past experiences, expectations, and your assumptions.
Yeah, so I know when I was reading through this list, there's quite a few of those that I'm sure come up quite often for myself when I'm listening to someone. It kind of prevents me from listening to their whole story. So, real fast, we're going to leave this on the screen for a second. Pick 3 of these that might inhibit your listening, and then focus on these listening barriers and try to eliminate them in future conversations. The more that you're aware of them, the easier it is to kind of overcome those. All right. What are some physical components of active listening, Bruno?
So 5 physical components of active listening. Squarely face the person, open your posture, lean towards the sender, maintain eye contact, and relax while attending.
Yeah. Have you guys ever been in a conversation where you can tell just by someone's physical appearance or the way that they're standing, that they're not interested in what you're saying? And do you consciously show people with your body language that you're actively listening to them? Do you practice these physical components of active listening? Just lots of food for thought in this one. All right. Some benefits of listening
Um,
well.
benefits of listening well. So you want a bond of respect, productivity, cooler heads, confidence, and accuracy.
Yeah. So when it comes to that bond of respect, that genuine listening generates respect, rapport, and trust between the talker and the listener. In particular, employees like and respond better to managers who think that they are listening to them. When it comes to productivity, productivity is going to be higher and problems are going to be solved more rapidly if people working to solve problems are encouraged to explain problems and start working through solutions out loud before advice giving begins. Focusing on listening helps both the talker and the listener stay cool and help them cool down when dealing with a crisis or discussing an emotionally charged topic. And then for confidence, a manager who listens well will tend to have better self esteem and self image because they will get along better with others. And last but not least, and arguably most importantly, accuracy. Better listening leads to better recollection, of important facts and issues later on, resulting in fewer miscommunications and mistakes. Thus, attention to good listening technique is even more important when complex issues are involved. So lots of benefits to actively listening, and I'm sure we could think of many more benefits that there are to active listening, but these are just a few of the big ones. All right, in the home stretch, Bruno, what did we learn today?
All right, cute. Just a little recap. So 5 key elements. Pay attention. Show that you are listening. You want to provide any kind of feedback. You want to defer judgment and respond appropriately.
Yeah, exactly. And then being mindful of your body language and watching for any listening filters that you might bring into that conversation. So we have a commitment today, Bruno. What is that commitment?
I will strive to understand what others are truly communicating and will not let outside distractions get in the way.
All right, you guys hear that? Going to strive to understand what others are truly communicating and will not let outside distractions get in the way. So let's live this moving forward. It's important to our team members. It's important to our managers. It's how you show people that you respect them and that you trust them, that you value what they have to say. But yeah, well, pausing really quickly, does anyone have any questions for Bruno about active listening? Neat. Well, thank you guys for being such great listeners today. And thank you, Bruno, for a wonderful presentation on active listening. Definitely something that many of us could work on doing better. That's for sure. But, all great information, whether you're learning it for yourself or whether it's something that you can share with maybe some new managers in your restaurants or some new team members who are reacting emotionally or who are jumping to conclusions. So thank you again, Bruno. Thank you everyone for joining us today. Look
Thank you very
forward to
much, Mary.
catching you guys. Yeah, great work, Bruno. But look forward to catching you guys again in a couple of weeks. Hope everyone has a good one.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Bruno.
Bruno.
Thanks, Mary.
Thank you.
Thank you.
and she should know
Thank
that.
you.